All right, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. um, Glad to see a good number of people already joining this conversation. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and good evening. All right, so welcome to Organero Conversation, our very first conversation this year, and I'm super excited. All right, let me gist you guys because people are coming in and our guests are already here. All right, but let me give you guys some gist. Of course, last year we had Samuel come join us for our very first conversation in October, and it was really, really amazing. Bringing him on board, talking about how he got to build sheep legs, how he ins probably about how many figures now? About five figures, in dollars, working as a designer. And when you hear his stories, he's not just a graphic designer or a UI designer. How that he has evolved into an extraordinary guy who has that business acumen in creating innovative solutions for organizations globally. And then in November, we had Benga, all right, my guy. And Benga came and scattered everywhere, broke all the tables. And, if you go to our Instagram, the Organero Combo, you see a lot of um, snippets and quotes from Benga. It's just been a an amazing conversation the last two sessions we've had. And so this year, we thought it was good to start with maybe just have two folks come on board. And, my team were just discussing how you guys are going to do this stuff. How are we going to bring in two people, have this conversation, and all of that. But then it's just been exciting. I think we made the right decision to bring in two people. Yes, I think we made the right decision. Anyways, I want you to quickly comment where you're joining us from. What's your name? Where are you joining us from? Let's quickly do that and then just start this conversation. I can assure you the next hour plus you'll be spending on this conversation here in this room will be super amazing. I assure you, you're going to have a sweat time, a blessed time, and there'll be a lot of learning, a lot of reorientation. And the idea around Organero is basically to inspire people to be more, inspire people to build, to progress. And if you check the meaning of the word Organero, right, and it's an African word, native word that means make progress. And that's what we're doing here. We are at the verge where you just want to see people make progress, people do great things. So I want to see you quickly make a comment on the chat room, whether you're joining us on YouTube Live or Instagram. Just let me know where you're joining us from. Yeah, I think that would be super, super amazing. Where are you joining us from? Okay, I'm waiting for our comments. I'm waiting for our comments. I'm waiting for our comments. The very first comment, and we just kickstart this. All right. All right. So I'm still waiting for the comments. And while the comments are coming in, I want to say it's good to be here. It's good to be having our very first session in 2025, and I'm super excited about the potentials. I'm super excited about what can be, and I'm super excited about you. I'm excited about the progress you would make. I'm excited about the fact that you're intentional about your development and growth. You're intentional about making progress, moving from where you are to higher heights. That's basically the dream and the desire. All right. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Um, so we'll just while we're here, we'll just wait in for one more minute and get a few persons here, and we will start this conversation by 6:07. All right. All right, all right. We are back faster than than I said, but we'll just wait a bit. Again, if you're just joining us, I wanted to drop on the chat box where you're joining us from, maybe just your name, your first name, where you're joining us from, and let us know how excited you are to be a part of this conversation. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to be here as well. Yeah, and for me, I tell people that beyond just being part of the team organizing Organiro and stuff like that, it's about my own growth. I want to be better. I want to do more. Um, I want to be able to achieve so much. I want to build stuff that would impact a generation and impact people. And so that's the design of Organiro. Organiro is first about me and also about you. The fact that when I bring people like this, very intelligent, smart people, people who are doing stuff, young people like myself, like you, who have been able to like make quality impact in all they do, right? It becomes an inspiration for myself to even do more, and for you as well. So yes, it's exciting that you are here, and let's get into it immediately. All right, let's get into it immediately. I will just quickly start with introduction of our guests. They are here already. My favorite people as at this very moment. Let me start with gifts. All right, so permit me to quickly just say a little bit about gifts. I have about yes, I'll just read it for you guys. All right, so please make sure you are in this conversation. Make sure you are. If you have somebody you feel like sharing the link with, it's fine. Just for today, it's fine. All right. So I would quickly just read a bit of Gift's bio, bring her on board, and then we'll have to become on board as well. Yeah. Okay, so gift Abah. So gift Abah is a product designer who seamlessly blends the science of art of design to create products that solve critical problems. All right, this is not a cliche, and I would probably give you a bit of about when we have this conversation. All right, so when she uses the term seamlessly blend the science and art of design to create products that solve critical problems, it's not a cliche. It's not one. Let's just look for big words to paint our picture. No. She's deeply invested in taking ideas from zero to one, turning words on paper into real, usable, and interactive experiences. Giftaba design work spans e-commerce, logistics, customer behavior, energy and sustainability, and edtech, with a focus on building global accessible products. Currently, Gift leads design at Ready, an innovation-driven startup developing resilient software, hardware, and IoT devices for the African and American market. When she's not designing, you'll find her capturing creative portraits, exploring photography, and picking up new skills. All right, so with a clap innovation. All right, I can't see Gift's face yet, but I'm sure she's here already. Let's make welcome the one, the only Gifts. Abba, Gifts. I'm bringing you into the room. Gift, you can't see your face, so show us your face. Show us your face. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, so Gift, I can't hear you yet. I think there's a bit of issue with your sound. Um, okay. All right, why Gift sort that out? Okay, I still can't hear you yet. Okay, so why Gift try to sort out that sound? I want to quickly bring into the studio someone else who is going to be in this conversation today. An amazing guy as well, very impressive. I've worked with him several times. We've worked on various projects together, and it's just an amazing folk. Yeah, and he's somebody you should listen to. You should listen to him. All right, so I just quickly read his bio. Toby David, like I like to call him, is a dedicated and goal-driven brand designer with a passion for simplicity, excellence, and value-driven creativity. With experience working across multiple industries and diverse cultural backgrounds, having acquired the wealth of design knowledge and experience, he specializes in branding, vision, communication, and marketing designs actually. David has worked on projects spanning the borders of Africa, the United States of America, Canada, Denmark, Scotland, and the list goes on. Currently, he's a senior brand and editorial designer at Young Culture Creative Agency, as well as the brand designer at Real Magic. David recently branded the Launch 25 conference, was a big conference actually, hosted by Rare Magic Academy. He remains steadfast in his craft, and his work continues to speak for him in places. An incredible designer, an amazing folk, somebody we all love, somebody I love when it comes to design. I love to see his work. I love to see him do amazing stuff. All right. So somebody just mentioned to me now that um, our chats our chat button on YouTube is not working. We're sorry about that. I'm sure you guys are trying to chat, drop your comments and all. We are going to resolve that. We're going to resolve that in a bit. All right. Hopefully, we're able to resolve that while we are in this conversation. Okay. So with a clapping, resounding ovation wherever you are, I want you to make welcome Toby as he joins this conversation. Toby. Toby, how you doing? You're muted. Okay. Um,
Okay. Can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you clearly.
Can you hear
Toby,
me
how you
now?
doing now?
I'm good. I'm good. I was just laughing. I was like, this guy go put me for trouble. This guy.
If you are big, you are big, Gary. If you are big, you are big. So yes, you are big. Um,
So it's
it's good
nice.
to
It's
have you
nice to
here.
be here. It's nice to be
Yes,
here.
it's good
Thank you
to have
so
you here. I'm
much.
excited to have
Thank
you
you
on
so
board
much.
here, this conversation. Okay, so
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
just
glad.
bring
I'm
Gift on
glad.
board. Gift, I want to believe you can speak now.
Yes, let's try this again. Can you hear me?
So we still can't hear you.
What do you
we still
want
can't
me
hear,
to
but
What?
do?
you're
What?
gonna resolve it definitely. So guys, it happens. Technology happens. It's funny how that we're in this room together a few minutes before this event started, and everything was perfect. Okay, so let's just
And
give
everything
Gift
was fine.
about a
Yeah.
minute. So Gift, you have the
What's
floor.
happening?
I can't hear you yet.
Okay. Okay, let me just put one more time. Now, can you hear me now?
No. So it's really not loud.
Okay.
I can't hear you. Okay, so we'll just try to get Gift in. All right. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Um, I want to start by saying, and this is from my heart. This is from me. Just thinking about every one of you, thinking about how much we can become, how much capacity that we have within us, and how that there's so much potential in us, and sometimes we are afraid to build. Sometimes we think we are not capable of building. All right, we think we don't have the capacity to build. And when I use the word build, I'm not just. It's really not just about. It's really not just about building a business brand or something. Um, okay, okay. It's not just about building a business brand. It may be that you are building a social venture. It may be that you are building for another organization which you are a part of. All right. So building is not just about a single thing that you do. It's not just about the business you are building. You may be building a family. All right. Maybe we'll never have that conversation here on how to build a family, but the goal is that you listen to people who are like you, people who have your experiences, people who have been where you are, people who are still where you are, and have taken the risks to go ahead and say, okay, see, regardless of how I feel, regardless of how things are, regardless of how bad things may be in the country or wherever it is that you find yourself, I'm still going to be intentional about building. I'm still going to be intentional about taking decisive steps to make impact. And when we talk about building, it's about making quality impact for people, making quality impact for the lives of the people that we are that are around us. All right. So whether it's a community you are building, whether it's a social venture, a social impact project, you are doing something that's incredible and you're trying to make impact. So I'm just going to bring Gift back to the studio. Okay, Gift, so you're back. Let's just confirm your audio is fine.
Sincere apologies. Are you able to hear me now?
Clearly!
Praise the Lord. I'm so sorry about that.
It's fine.
I
It's fine.
tested
It's
earlier and
fine.
it was working, so I wonder what happened.
Yeah. It's fine, Gift. So welcome here, Gift.
Okay.
It's good to have you again after a long while. So I'm going to start with you, Gift, because they say to start with the ladies. Ladies first, all right? So I'm going to start with you, Gift. Gift. Okay. So, backstory to how I met Gift. I was working with a company called Ready. She still works there at the moment as a commercial executive for the brand, and we were recruiting designers, UI UX designers, and Gift was recruited by one of the best UX designers you will find around Nigeria. Honestly, some of the big brands, tech designs and stuff like that was some of his projects, or he had hands in it. And you would expect that, oh, okay, if he's bringing somebody on board, the person has to be very good. And guess what? He brought somebody who was extremely very good on board, and that was Gift. And then it was after a while I realized that Gift was a pharmacy student. She was in school then. I think she was probably in her 400 level or thereabouts. And she would, and I was asking myself, how would Gift manage the kind of intense work that we do at Ready, right? Ready is not, you don't play there, you work hard for the money you earn. And of course, you learn a lot while you work so hard. And I was surprised. I was really surprised. And I've never got to ask you this question. Maybe I should start from there. How did you manage to find yourself in the UI UX space as a pharmacy student? Gift, over to you.
Well, that's quite an interesting question, and certainly one that I get very frequently. Right. So I like to describe myself as a very restless student, or I was a very restless student. So all throughout my time in uni, you would rarely find me just solely focusing on academics, and it's been like that since my 100 level. So I went through different phases. There was this phase where I was volunteering. There was another phase where I was going to a lot of conferences and doing a lot of programs and courses. And there was this phase where I started to explore tech skills. Actually, I got into design through digital marketing. I often say so. I'd learned one of the skills that I'd acquired at the time was digital marketing, and after spending some time learning, doing actual professional certifications, I decided to get hands-on experience. Right. Then I found an energy product startup or company, so to speak, that was looking for a digital marketer at the time. Um, they were not even going to pay me, but I thought it was a
Wow.
good opportunity for me to, yes, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to gain hands-on experience. I got on board, or I got to a company and realized that part of my role as a digital marketer obviously would be managing their social media pages, and there was no designer on board, so I was going to be responsible for the designs technically. And I'll be honest, as I then I knew nothing about graphics design or anything. I was majorly going to be doing graphics design. And so that was like a rude shock. But I thought to myself that what it's worth doing is worth doing well anyways. So I took up the I took up the challenge to start learning graphics design. It was during the process of trying to research about design, what makes good design, how to create a good design that conveys the right amount of message, or the right type of message rather, was when I stumbled across product design, and then I made the switch. I would say I didn't exactly enjoy graphic design, but when I discovered product design, I just felt like I found the place for me, and then I made that switch. I remember the date very vividly. It was the 4th of January 2021. And it's one of the spontaneous decisions that I had made in my life. I'm a planner generally, if you know me. I don't take spontaneous decisions. But I think one of the most spontaneous decisions that I've made ever is, learning product design. I just woke up one morning and I'm like, it's what I'm going to do. In fact, I was so clueless that the only thing I could think of was to go on YouTube to search how to become a product designer in 2021. And I started by watching the first 1 to 3 videos that popped up. and the guy was doing a walkthrough. The guy was talking about, oh, how to design on Figma. I was doing a walkthrough. There was a less than 30 minutes video. But because I was learning for the first time, obviously it took me like the entire day, even up until the next day. So I would pause the video and would design along with him. That was when he introduced me. He introduced Figma.design, Figma.com rather, on the call, and I went and typed Figma.com and signed up. First time exploring the tool as well. So whatever I did, I would pause, I would do it. But after then, though, I went to learn design properly. So I signed up for a lot of boot camps. I did a lot of courses. And as luck we have it, that was a time when a lot of companies, a lot of organizations were sponsoring tech skills. So come into tech, we'll sponsor you for free, we'll pay mentors to teach you for free. There's a lot of get women into tech movement at the time as well. We still have a lot of those. So I leveraged a lot of those and did a lot of those programs. As a matter of fact, I was able to do a full boot camp that was sponsored by Brave Achievers, which was an organization based out of the US. Did the Google UX certification programs. So I would design during the day, practice during the day, during the night. I would join a lot of Twitter lives and programs and then Google Meet programs on then design. And so it was just a lot of learning. And that was the only thing I was doing at the time. As luck we have it, school wasn't so intense at the time because of the whole COVID thing. We're just easing out of the COVID thing. And then there was the issue of ASU strike. We've not had that in a while, but when I was in school, I actually suffered from ASU strike. So it was easy for me to learn and just focus on design at that time. But that was how I got into product design, and I've never looked back since then.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. How you turn your, according to people, lemonade into lemons and see what you, or your lemons into lemonade.
Into lemonade, yeah.
and see what it has become. I remember when you came in and, you know, just hearing that the fact that you could get your job done and still go to school then was really very amazing. I didn't know this part of the story. I didn't know the part where you have to take a lot of courses. You have to. So obviously, gifts paid the price. Obviously, there was a lot of commitment and consistency in getting the skills you needed. And I like the fact that you said it took you a whole day to watch a 30 minutes video because you were practicing as you were learning. You know, you just said to yourself, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this very well. There's something you said that I think is very remarkable, and I think everybody on this call should pay attention to. If it's worth doing, then it's worth doing extremely well. You know, very, very important. Thank you so much, Gifts. And I'm happy about your journey because we are blessed by it. You know, look at the product you have designed. You know, the few I know, I know there's a lot you've done that I probably have no clue about, but the few I know, the experience that you find in those products are pretty very amazing. You know, just to give you guys inside information, some of the products she has built in terms of grants and funding for those projects are probably over $400,000 dollars in grants. I don't mean investment. I mean free money that came in. And you know, when some of these conversations go on, they want to see what do you have in terms of design. Of course, what do you have in terms of hardware, but also what do you have in terms of design. What's your website like? And when you have something very impressive, people are eager to bring you aboard. So pretty amazing, good stuff. Gift. So let me move over to the man. Toby, my man. Okay, so I think I met the both of you in very amazing points in my life. You know, I remember I was starting a new product, Lightpad headquarters, right? And we were bidding. You know, it was supposed to be Christocentric journaling stuff, and then it's just evolved over the time. And I'd done the initial designs. I got my first logo and all of that, and I just needed somebody to like maybe design for the page and all. And then I was talking to someone, and then she shared Toby's page with me, and which did. I was like, yeah, let me just check this guy out. We exchanged contact. I got his contact. I spoke to him for the very first time, you know, and because I had seen his work and it was really, really, really good. I was like, okay, I hope I can even afford this guy. And for some weird reasons, we had conversations. I don't know how I succeeded to beat down his price because then I didn't have a lot of money to spend on design, you know. But I saw somebody who knew what I was doing, very intelligent person. And I think then, I don't know if you had just finished school or you were serving. I can't remember now. Either you were just about to leave school or you were serving at the time.
Yeah, I was,
And then
I
you
was
jumped
seven. I
on,
was seven.
you're 7 years, and you jumped on the light bar project and you said, well, let's work on the logo. And when you came up with the logo, I'm like, what? What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? Okay. And since then, you know, I've never referred Toby to anybody and they came back complaining, honestly. Like, he has done a lot of brand development for a lot of folks I know, and they say, okay, Emeka, do you have something? I say, don't worry, leave to Toby. And once he asks for the brief, you're just amazed. You're just amazed at what it comes out with. Toby, my man, how did you get here? So, first of all, how did you find design? Why design? I know you didn't study design in school. I'm certainly sure of that. You don't do design in uni, Nori. So how did you get here? Over to you.
Nah, nah, nah. I don't think Indian learning does not have that, at least as of yet. Last I recall. So design, gift was telling a story of how she got into design, and I was, I could relate. I could relate. Although the way my own came, it was more or less like I I studied economics in school, and I used to tell the story that the first design I did was for my fellowship, then NAFEX, National Fellowship of Economics Christian Students. The first design I ever did. And what happened? So our level pastor then, Prince of Blessed Memory, he that day he just came up, with a design that he wants us to be designing, these things for our weekly fellowship. And then he said it, and I was like, okay, that we'll see how it goes. And then the next week we saw a design. And I think what fascinated me about it was the fact that I had something in mind. That is, I have something in mind that I want to create. I have something in mind that I want to communicate to people. I want people to see. I want people to know about it, and then I'm able to put everything together in somewhat something that looks like a picture, and then people can see it and they can get all the information they need and they could relate, almost easily with it. It felt unreal. I mean, as I then, the only thing I probably knew was Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, and of course, there's very, very little to how much you can do with Microsoft Word when it comes to design. So I really didn't know. And then it started from there. And as I then, I was using a phone. I was using a phone as I then. And shortly after, or I think it was the same year that COVID came. So with my phone and this thing, I did. Although if I see those designs now, God, I beg. If I see those designs now, oh boy, I don't know. I will cover my eyes in shame because truthfully, I mean, I was doing them. I don't know. Maybe people were just like, now that period, or just doing free designs. Come on, let me do design for you. Just do free design up and down. They were not. It's not like they were good designs. So they just. But I saw that it was at least making some of my. There was a day like that I customized my name in a particular way. Toby David. I customized my name in a particular way, and then uh when I got to school, I think it was, I can't remember if it was 2021, or I can't remember very well. And then I sent it to someone and they liked it. I'm like, will you come and do this thing too for me now? And then I did it. Apparently, eventually, I think I did it for like about 10 to 15 of my classmates, the same way I customized my name, did that. And I saw that people liked it. They liked it. And it just, so when I send it to them and then they see it and this is really nice, Toby, thank you. And there's a way when you do something good, now there's a way it feels in your stomach. So I felt good. I felt good that I was able to make people feel that way, and then slowly, I started really wanting to know more about designs. I got quite inquisitive about it. I asked a lot of questions. I asked tons of questions. I meet people before I say one or two things, or maybe especially maybe I meet the person at, say for example, we had this IT, then it was then, now I don't think they use it anymore in University of Ilorin. So we had this place where we can take our systems on phones, to read, or to want to use them, whatever thing. And then that day I got into the all that day. And then I saw someone, it was using a phone also. All right, it was using Pixel Lab. I can never forget. When I started, I was using PixArt. If you go and check Google, I said Google Play Store, right? You see PixArt. I was using PixArt. Guy was using Pixel Lab. And then he brought up I saw the way he was doing things. So I went to meet him that, oh guy, this thing you are doing, I really love it, you know. And he he took me in and he taught me, although I'm not like, see, let's codedly here, right? Codedly here. Let's not reveal it outside. Just between us like this. It's not like the thing was good. Right. But I was fascinated. I was fascinated with the fact that I was able to create some very, very, very nice things. And then from there it started, I was able to, create designs for my fellowship. Then and shortly after I create now this is something that I want to something that not very many people know. Now economics department, NESA, they were using a particular logo before, or they were using a particular logo. And then when I came in and then I started doing those designs and I was getting a bit used to it, I noticed that their logo, it was always faded. I think they had designed it in like, I don't even know how long. It was always faded and I didn't like the way it was. And then that day I just redid the logo. And I'm telling you, up till now, up till now, that's what Nessa is using. And they have no idea, that it came up. But anytime I see it, I'm like, this thing, let me do this thing, years back, like that. So I still being inquisitive, I met people, I spoke with people that added me into design communities, spoke with people that I attended tons of events, tons of events. The one that they are doing design, or the one they are not doing. If they say it's a creative, if I should not hear creative, the moment I hear creative, you'll find me there. All right. So do this thing, I'm there. Do design, these things, I'm there. Whatever I attend, in fact, I can't count. I can't count how many boot camps and things like that I attended, all in the this thing of wanting to get better. And then eventually, when I was able to get my system at the end of, I think it was October, I think October or November 2020, when I got my first system. And then I think it was from there, someone started telling me about Corel Draw. And then took in Corel Draw, started learning. And then over time, I got, better, transitioned into using Photoshop. And then the development just kept coming, and
I can imagine.
of course I exposed myself the more,
Yeah.
So, and then we have ourselves here. So that's the
Amazing,
summary.
amazing. And I think that if there's something I've learned from the both of you is that um, there's really nothing wrong with starting where you are, And sometimes people are afraid to say, okay, what if
No.
it's not good enough? What if it's not nice? And what I hear here is that you just start from where you are, and what you think is even nice today. In 10 years time, if you continue to improve yourself, realize that, oh well, did I ever do that, and I think that's very, very amazing to know that um, you went on to even start with the phone. I know those days. So a lot of
Yeah.
people give excuses for not starting. We give excuses for not building. We give excuses for not trying. And then you decided we're going to start with the phone. You started scrapping in quotes. And then this is where you are today doing global stuff. All right. So I think I just want to put the next question to you, and then I'll get back to gifts. And the reason is, so I see your designs, right? And So, guys, this is not a designers conversation. It's not a conversation about designers. It's a conversation about builders, people who have consistently, intentionally built their skills and have become formidable people. So, whether or not you're a designer, whether you are a project manager where you are, whether you are into you do your 5 to 9 and or 9 to 5, and all you do there is to sell. It's about building your skills. It's about how do you become better. So don't think, oh, this is a designer's conversation. No, it's not a designer's conversation in any way. It's just like two people here are designers, and stuff like that. All right. So, David, back to you. Was it an intentional thing for you to go into corporate designing? Now, a lot of people design, and I think this question is important because there are a lot of people who design. All right, I've seen a lot of designers. I know a lot of designers. They can do church flyers. They can, do party flyers. They can do stuff. But you tell them, come and do a proper document for me. Come and create something for me, for an organization, to a certain standard, when they don't just have to look online and put things together, but then they have to create a corporate documentation, thinking about logos. Not all designers can do logos, but you do that, like, it's like, I don't know what to call it, but it's just something you do. Was it an intentional decision to go into that path, or you just found yourself there?
Okay. So the thing is, so far, through my design journey, I think one of the things that has stood out as the pillars, one of the main pillars of my design, is the basic principles of design. All right, basic principles. And I mean, what are the basic principles? Talk of things like alignment. Talk of things like uh, hierarchy. You talk of balance. They are very very basic things that, if applied to whatever thing it is that you're doing, it's just in recent times that design has gone retro slash modern slash everything coming all together. And so I think I've always been a fan of very simple. All right, very simple but valuable. Now, have I been simple all through my design career? No. All right, no. There are times, there are some designers that I carry some design and I show you. You ask me that, Toby, now you do this thing. Because there's a whole lot. There's just a whole lot. There's just a whole lot. But I think over time, also, I think one of the things that really influenced, especially in recent times, one of the things that influenced me doing very simple design is that I found out, that majority of um outside Nigeria, or let's use outside Africa. All right, outside Africa, the all those things that we are doing. The way all these are not maybe church program flyers that we do in Nigeria now. The way it's all shouty and all this thing, all those shouty, it did not pass Africa. Oh. I'm telling you, it did not pass Africa. It did not pass Africa. If you do that thing for a white man, I mean, it has to be as simple as
That's
possible. It
wow.
has to be as simple as possible, except that maybe the people you are designing for are maybe all this club this thing or parties, except is that. But when it comes to it, at least the vast majority of the distance that I've worked with, either branding projects, either um documentation, or whatever sort of design it is, all right, simplicity, really. Simplicity. I found out that the don't I found out that the kind of clients that I was looking for, they prefer that. They don't want you shouting on their head. They don't want to be seeing your design and they are seeing all sorts of things, just coming together. They want it to be clean, they want it to be as simple as possible, and they want it to be attractive. All right. So attractiveness, simplicity, cleanliness. So I think I would say that has been uh,
What are shapes?
I can say that I dabbled into it. I can say I dabbled into it, all as I was coming through,
Yeah.
through my design journey. Like I
Yeah.
said, I was not like that before, you know. So yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. And I like your designs, honestly. And that's going to bring me into my next question that I'm going to push out to Gift. Yes, yes, you can type. Somebody was saying we can type now. Yes, you can type. We're very sorry about that. But then you can type. If you can feel it, say you feel it, you feel it, you feel it, you feel it. It's just been amazing, you know. And when you mentioned simplicity and you mentioned knowing the basics, my mind ran back to gift. I'm like, yeah, this is gift. When you talk about simplicity of designs, when you talk about knowing the basics, the best that comes to mind for you is, for me, it would be gift, in terms of UI and UX design. So gift. Let's talk a bit about simplicity, and let's talk about knowing the basics. All right, because one of the things we realize is that some people, I tell people, now this is my rule. I tell people that if you can't arrange chairs in church, you can't align chairs in church, you can't do design for me. Doesn't matter how much you know the tools, you cannot design chair for me. If you cannot arrange chairs in line, because those are like, for me, I think it's basic for you to know alignment, for you to know patterning, But then over to you, Gift. And this is not just going to be about design, it's about, as a person who wants to be better at what you are doing, the importance of knowing the basics, the importance of being as simple as possible, but also creating genuity in simplicity. Over to you, Gift.
Right. So I think that there is this principle. It's called the Pareto principle that I use whenever I'm learning any new skill. So it's one of those things that go around a lot on Twitter. Like every now and then you see, oh, Japanese principle, blah, blah, blah. It's one of those things, one of those principles that go around. But it's something that I've applied for the longest time. And that is the belief that to produce most of your results, you need 20% of the knowledge to start with. If you have 20% of knowledge, you can create 80% of the results. Now, of course, that is like the level playing ground for everybody that comes in. I'm going to use design as a practical example that everybody can relate with. Everyone that wants to learn design would start with the basics, with the initial 20%. And what Pareto principle, if I apply to what I do, is that if you know a lot and if you master a lot of the 20%, you can produce significantly good results. Now, that might not necessarily separate you from others. You might not stand out as a good designer, but you produce good enough work. As a great designer, rather, but you produce good enough work. So that goes back to what we were saying about understanding the basis and then simplicity. And I think that is something I've extrapolated into like other things I've learned because beyond design, I'm constantly learning. I'm sure you're aware that I'm always doing one thing or the other, improving my skills in one way or the other. And something that I always help me pick up designs faster, and that goes out to anyone that is a builder. And according to like the definition of building that we are talking about here, is constantly improving your skills. And I think what has helped me to be able to pick up new skills and to improve fast is I ask myself, I'm learning anything, you ask myself, what is the 20% of information that I need now to produce 80% of the knowledge, and then I level on that later. I think it's a good principle to have, even beyond career, beyond work. We can apply it to other aspects of our life as well. Um, so, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I'm going to ask you another question, Gift. Incredible, and just to think about it, thinking about the fact that sometimes you don't need all the information to do something incredible. You just need the right information, the right knowledge. This is the right skill set to be able to like do incredible stuff. And I'm good. I don't know if you were there when I'm trying to remember his name now. That he was working with us then. He was a lawyer. He was a graphic designer. I don't know if you remember him. He
No,
was a
I'm not
graphic
sure.
designer. So he was working with us in Ready, and I was so shocked that this guy does his designs on PowerPoint. I
Oh, that's
never in
interesting.
my. You said
I don't think I met him. I said that is very
yes,
interesting. I don't think I.
Olamide. That's his name. Olamide.
No, I never
Olamide's
met him.
design. Yeah, I think he left before you came in.
Okay.
Olamide's designs are incredible. Like, if Olamide never told me that he does the designs on PowerPoint, I would
Wow.
not believe. It's amazing. just to highlight the point that sometimes it's not really about the tools. It's about knowing the basics. It's about understanding how to use the tools that you have to get the best results that you can get. So I think I completely agree with what you said. And going back to the point where you talked about that, you're that person who is always learning and growing. And I think I want you to talk about it because I think there was a time I probably overheard somebody mention, we're having a conversation, somebody said, you know that gift is like learning on business designs, or maybe you posted it on your status or something, you were like taking stuff on business development and all of that. And one will ask, what does a designer needs in terms of why you doing business development? Yeah, designer, for God's sake, let the business development guys, let the marketing guys do it, you know. But I think that's probably one of the things that have really transformed your kind of design, because I'm not just doing copy and paste. Okay, they told me this, put this here, I'm putting this here. No, you know the business part of the business, and you're able to design. You know, you even understand the customer better than some of the business managers themselves. So I want you to talk about the idea of expanding your knowledge. All right. Of course, we are saying know the basics, but how do I expand the knowledge beyond what I know? Oh, I mean, some people here work with organizations, and it's easy to say, I'm going to speak with what I know, and this is what they pay me for, and this is what I'm going to do. You know, what do you say to this? Learning beyond the basics again, and being able to learn beyond multiple spaces that you find yourself.
Well, I think that everyone, if we can, should be able to go beyond the core skills, should I say, or what their job descriptions are. So if you are close to me, or if anyone that is close to me, you would hear me talk a lot about being a T-shape talent. So what that means for me is having a lot of breadth and then depth in something. So depth for me, what that looks like, it's design. Design is my core. So it's my priority to have a lot of depth in that. But again, breadth is also very important to me, in the sense that to be able to sometimes creatively think and solve certain problems, you need unique perspective. And my way of getting unique perspective is to learn very broadly and learn a lot of things. So I recently completed a 1 year postgraduate diploma in design management, entrepreneurship, and leadership. And I would honestly say it's one of like the best things that I've ever done, right? Because the vast amount of knowledge that I got exposed to, thinking about microeconomics, macroeconomics, raising funds, building products, design thinking, group dynamics, problem solving, just name it, strategy. There was a lot of knowledge that they had imparted into us, and that has shaped how, or that has changed how I approach problems going forward. And even beyond that as well, I've taken the liberty to go explore VC, and I've come back, and I've gone explore data, I've come back. I've explored a lot of things, but I've always come back to design, pick elements from that and come back to design. And what has helped me do it, as it has increased like the amount of value that I can bring to the team. So I'll give an example. Um, Beyond product design, at the moment you'll find me a lot designing business documents for investors, designing a lot for potential clients that we are looking to bring on board on the team. And the reason why I'm able to understand and bring value in that perspective beyond just designing mobile solutions or digital solutions is because I've been able to explore venture capital to some extent. I did an entire 4 month program on venture capital. So I sort of understand how VCs think when it comes to like assessing a product, assessing a team, and assessing if the product has the right market fit and whatnot. Plus, again, 1 year program that I went to go and do in business entrepreneurship, leadership, and management gave me a lot of insights into like how people that evaluate such documents also think as well. So it's something that I've always done, something that I'll always continue to do, and it's a principle of mine that I've always lived on, or lived by rather. It's just been like a T-shaped person, because ultimately, what we know helps us build our mental model, and the kind of mental models that we have determines how we approach problems, determines how we think. And ultimately, what makes two designers different, or two people different, so to speak, is because they think differently, they approach the problem differently, they solve the problem differently. And the edge that we truly have is knowledge, to be very honest. So it's a principle of mine that I've always lived by, and something that I always continue to live by, because I cannot just be doing one thing. I always explore. I don't know. I always a week to explore. Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Choosing to always explore, and that's like really very amazing. Guys, how many of you agree with me that if Give decides to drop design today and say, I'm going to take over as a business manager, some people will lose their jobs. Because imagine just being a graphic designer, sorry, a UI UX designer, evolving from a graphic designer to a UI UX designer, and ending up taking courses in venture capitalist capital, how do you raise funds? How do venture capital organizations work? And then taking course on leadership and management. That's like building a very solid portfolio. Amazing stuff, amazing stuff, amazing stuff. Good to good to see. And I think that that brings me back to the point where it's you said something in the last set of things you said, and one of the things you said that was very critical was that knowledge is really like a capital. The more you know, the more you're able to do, and the more you're able to make quality impact and quality decisions in that sense. And that's what we are doing. Incredible stuff. Please keep it up. And this brings me to Toby. This brings me to you, Toby. Gift has said a lot, and I really want to bring this back to you. So I've known you for a while now, and we have done stuff together. And I know that you have done 9 to 5. In doing 9 to 5, you freelance. In doing that, you are building the seventh brand. And I see some of the things you do. I see the times where you will be talking about, like Emeka say, I have like stuff, so I probably work overnight and all of that. And I think I want to say something that I think um, um, I would like you to address. All right. So it's easy for people to say, well, I'm working for an organization, I don't have my products, so I'm just do the bare minimum, right? I'm a graphic designer, I'm a QA QC person. All I need to do, when they bring in the product, I just check for quality assurance and control. That's all I do. I don't think about any other thing. And somebody says, "Oh, can you help us do a bit of marketing?" And no, did you apply for marketing? I'm graphic designer. I will do the design, and all of that. So I want you to address the point where, um, what will you say to are the critical skills, all right, for working and creating design solutions for people to help them grow their businesses. Now, I'm saying this because there are people here who work for for organizations, and most of us actually, somehow, you're working for somebody, all right. What are those things that are required for you to be able to say, okay, at this point, I'm building for somebody, I'm creating a product for somebody, both. I'm going to be able to create solutions. Right? I'm not just going to do my what they asked me to do, but I'm going to be the solution provider for an organization. I'm saying this because I know that what you do basically is about creating solutions, whether it's in your 9 to 5, whether it's creating the seventh brand, or maybe it's you freelancing for organizations, helping them to bring their ideas into life. So over to you, Toby.
Okay. Thank you so much, Emeka, for that question. You talking about it made me remember. Shortly after we branded Lightpad, you know, if you remember very well, like shortly after, and then we launched, right? One of the
Yes.
first set of questions that I kept asking then was, Alpha Nova, is he, are people, are people reaching out? Are people reaching out? Are people doing this? Are people doing that? Because I want to know um what exactly is going on. I don't think, and I think it's one of the faults. All right. I mean, I regard it as a fault because it is one thing to, okay, let me go through this route. So God created Adam, yeah, and then he puts Adam in the garden, right? And Adam named whatever he needed to, name the animals and everything. Now there's a place of Adam not just existing. There's a place of him ensuring that he kept the garden. There's a place of him ensuring that, okay, this particular animal is doing fine. There's a place of him ensuring that, okay, this is working the way it's supposed to be. And this is a mindset that not very many Nigerians, are not very many Nigerians are interested, if I can put it that way. And the fault is not I won't entirely put the fault, on this generation of Nigerians, right? I won't really put the fault on them. I feel like it is something that it has it has been, since way back, even with our parents. All right. You see a very people go to serve now. People go to serve now, and then shortly before they are posted to their PPAs, all right, you start hearing things like, I want to work in a ministry. Oh, they should post me to a ministry, ministry where I will not be doing anything. They should post me to a ministry, you know, and it detects when I hear people say that. Well, maybe for me, if I had been posted in a ministry, I feel like it would have been a major plus for me, Sha, because obviously I would take that time, to work on my own distance very well. But a lot of people, they are not really bothered. It's not their business, and that's not how it's supposed to be. For someone who wants to build. And I was speaking to a friend yesterday. All right. Now, the friend, she has a job description, she has a role in the company. All right. And then in that same company, there's another role that seems like is vacant. All right. The role is vacant, so there's nobody to really operate in that role, and it's you can say that it affects the flow of everything that, and then this person was given the task, of doing that, like an additional role, different from what you are meant to do normally. All right. And let me tell you the response of many young people. So please, this thing is not in my job description. Like straight up, they can even maybe even go and report to the HR that HR, this person is giving me a job that is not mine to do. All right. It takes a mindset. Emeka, have you ever known me to be a video person? Since you've known me, I've never been a video person. No, I don't do videos. I don't do videos. If you check my page, you can check Zero Brand's page. You will not see. I'm not sure if you see one video. Okay, except recently, last year, towards the end of last year, that I had to bring someone in, to be helping me with some things. But something happened to me at my company. They just came up that day that, okay, they want me to do some promotional videos, this and that. I was like, sir, I don't I mean, I first, sir, I don't do videos. Like, it's not in my line. It's not something I know how to do. But then it was like, but you have, a good eye. You've seen some of these things before. He did the whole thing, and then finally he gave me some premium resources, that I could use for the video, and immediately he gave me those resources. Me, I took it as an opportunity, because now you are if you reach out to me now that you want to make some specific kind of videos, now I will not tell you that I don't do it. But now this particular thing I learned on the job. I learned it on the job. If I send you that video, you will not believe. You will not believe that I don't do videos at all
Please
normally.
send it. I would
All
love
right.
to see
And
it.
and then it happened the first time, they brought in this thing. I did it. Happened the second time, and it now became something that, even now that we had, I think towards the end of December and entering into January, we had a change of face, in how the brand was being projected. We had a change of face, and even with the old change, I was still able to, really bring myself into. People just want to go to the office, do the work that they said is my job description, collect my salary, and leave. Now, when you do that, what happens? What happens when you do that is that when it's time for you to build your own, or when it's time for you to do that which is yours, building your own business, then the experiences that you're supposed to have learned at certain points in time, because you did not learn it there and then, it will take you extra time, it will take you extra cost, because you have to go and pay for classes and things. Whereas you could just sit down there, in that company. Fine, it is extra work, which is. But you look at this thing. What people tend to, I was listening to this preacher and he talked about people always wanting, early gratification. I'm not saying it's bad. If I see whoever will give me early gratification, I will collect. But we should be able to bring ourselves to be sensitive enough to know. I don't want to go to a phase that this thing wants to be going into. You should be sensitive enough to know that in this season, I am still learning. In this season, I'm still growing. This is not the end of me. All right. I'm not going to me now. I'm not ending as a brand designer. I've told Emeka, that. I've told you that I'm not ending as a brand designer. Who knows? I might not even be designing anything. Maybe by the time I'm maybe 40 or 50 or so, I don't know, 40. I might not even be designing anything again. All right. But if I don't learn the necessary things that I need to learn, in time before then, is it now that time that I want to start? No. All right. So I think it's a mentality that needs to be crushed. People need to, I understand. All right. And I feel like maybe some of the reasons why people are skeptical, of these things is that, truthfully, right, there are some toxic environments, to work. I can't deny that there are some very toxic environments. But if God has helped you enough to be in a place whereby that this place is not toxic, all right, and then they are bringing something where you can improvise, something that can help you get better, please do the needful of taking it up, and learning. All right. I did virtual assistant, for example. I learned virtual assistant. But if you want to thrive as a virtual assistant in this economy now, I promise you, virtual assistant is not the only thing you are going to learn. No, there are other things that you need to add to it. So I'm taking time. So let me pause there for now.
All right, thank you so much. Impressive thoughts, impressive thoughts. And I think I would like that Gift put our words into this. And it's about the fact that I think it's a natural phenomenon for you to want to be your own stuff. You want to be your own Dangote. You want to be your own Elon Musk. And you want to be your own stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Do your own stuff now. But in a world where everybody wants to build theirs, right? And I think Toby has said a lot about that. But I just want to hear Gift's thoughts around this, right? What does it take to build for other people? How can you help other people build their dreams? And at the end, what's that benefit of doing so? Over to you, Gift.
Well, Toby has said a lot of interesting and useful things around building for others. But I think that the first step, and Toby touched on this when he spoke about mindsets. The first thing is not to think of it as though you are building for others. See it as character development or skill development for yourself. And I think if you can personalize that journey, like you can personalize that experience, it's easier to take ownership, right? So if you see it as your way of contributing or a way of helping yourself while helping that person, then it's easier. And then what then that does is that in the process of doing your job, even if you are working for someone, you're able to build your skills, just like Toby has rightly said, but you also build the network and the connections and the right kind of mindset and the right kinds of attitude that you need to then go ahead eventually in the future to build yours. And so there's usually this popular saying that the best way to learn is to learn with other people's money and learn with other people's resources. This is what Toby
I like
has said.
that.
right? So while you are getting paid to work for that person or to do whatever task or whatever job that you are asked to do, consider it as an opportunity to acquire, should I say, survival skills or life skills or useful skills that you can then take into whatever you want to build in the future. But beyond that, you're also acquiring the right network, you're acquiring the right sort of exposure. And if your job gives you the opportunity to travel, that is another plus as well. And if your job gives you the opportunity to upskill, let's say they have like a learning package, that's another opportunity as well. But the moment you begin to see it as, oh, this is just my daily bread, I don't care what happens to the business, I don't care what happens to this, that sort of becomes like the wrong mindset to go into. And trust me, it's obvious, right? People might not be able to place their thumb on it, but people just know that this person is probably just gliding through, and people notice it, and in doing that, sometimes you might even block yourself some sets of opportunities as well. Um, so it's the right mindset, really, essentially the right mindset, and see it as a way of improving yourself while helping the person build their business or build their vision as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Impressive, 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 impressive. Um, I've learned a lot, honestly, and I just want to bring everybody, the audience, back to what's going on here. All right. So if you check the flyer, or if you check the link you're in at the moment, it says Rome wasn't built in a day, but blocks were laid daily. And there's a rider to it. How consistency can lead to growth. And I think just listening to Gift and listening to Toby, you see that clearly. You see how that doing this thing again and again, showing up every single day, has been a very impressive way of growing and becoming much more. All right. And I think it's just exciting that we pay attention to these things. It's important for you to realize that some people want to be the best. Some people want to be the big brand. You just want to wake up and be the big brand. You hear that at the age of 18, Mark Zuckerberg was already building Facebook. And me too. I'm 23 now. I'm 24. I'm 25. I can do the same. But then sometimes we fail to understand people's story, the level of commitment and growth that they have given themselves to, the opportunities that they probably access very early enough, and then they build skills, required skills. Today we celebrate Elon Musk, and then when he changed Twitter to X, people are like, oh, it's X.com. And then I did my research and I realized that X.com was first used in 1999. It failed as a business. And so when he bought Twitter, he decided to use that same name. Right? So Elon Musk did not fall from the sky. Elon Musk has been there for years. Before they built paper, he has been building products. And then when they realized that, oh, Peter Thiel and his team were building something similar, they decided to come together and they became the paper mafia that we all know them to be today. So it takes a lot of time to grow. It takes a lot of time to improve. Look at the stories, how they took advantage of COVID-19. I think COVID-19 was a blessing for the both of you. It was a blessing for me too, so yeah. But it was obviously you guys took advantage of it to do a lot of learning and becoming. Now I want to take this conversation to a different angle. If you get to see my status recently, I put out an ad. Well, I can call it an ad. If you journal, come to me. I want to start journaling. And I realize I journal. It's not if I don't, I journal. But there's something about you, Gift, that I've noticed over the years. Just being on LinkedIn, and we were having this conversation before we went live, when we were just in the room. We had a green room before you guys all came in. And we're just familiarizing ourselves, Toby and Gift, asking ourselves questions and all of that. I see how you consistently post on LinkedIn, and I feel like you get a lot of opportunities just doing that. But then I realize that journaling helps you to improve yourself, helps you to think, and helps you to be even a better person. The ability to even consistently journal is a skill that you can use on other aspects of your personality. So I want to ask you, Gift, how has journaling shaped your person, or shape the person you are becoming. Just being able to put your stories out, and all of that. Johnny, writing about your own experience. Yeah, question.
This is funny, right? Because before we went live, when we were talking, I remember Toby asked me why my Instagram was so quiet, and I remember telling him that I use more of LinkedIn, um, and that is because I like to think that I'm a private person. I would prefer to be a private person. It's just that in this day and age that we live in, we definitely always have to put our work out there. It's a way of staying top of mind and sort of informing the world or about what we do. So I try to post on LinkedIn. I wouldn't say I'm the most consistent, but I try my best. Um, but again, I journal a lot, personal, private journal. I think that's two things depending on what type of journaling you are talking about or we are thinking about. If you are talking about private personal journal or journaling, it helps with clarity of thoughts. And with clarity of thoughts comes a lot of being able to uniquely see things from a different perspective, right? So the moment you're able to take anything at all, and you write it down, that's half of the problem solved, anyways. The clarity that comes from all those mumble jumble thoughts in your head, being able to put it down helps a lot, especially if you are the type of person that generates a lot of ideas. I think it's a good one. But to address the points where you are that you specifically spoke about, rather, which is putting your work out there on LinkedIn. I'll be honest, it's not the easiest. It's not the easiest thing to do. But I think it helps with number one, getting validation of the usefulness of the skill that you do. It also helps you to connect with potential clients, and then it helps you stay top of mind. So I'll give an instance. When I started designing in 2021, right, one of the advice that I received then is, oh, put your work out there on LinkedIn. I just took that advice and I ran with it. And I remember I got my first ever gig on LinkedIn, and that was 6 months into learning. And then what that did for me was that it just validated that I was on the right track. Remember, I had said that starting design was a very spontaneous decision for me. That sort of showed me that I'm learning a skill that is useful out there and then it's useful to people. And ever since then, I've stayed consistent. Whenever I reached a milestone in my career, I'll try as much as possible to put it out there. It helps, people understand how you are growing, see how you are growing, and inviting people on your journey. And then it helps you stay top of mind again as well. It has a short-term, long-term effect. Usually, the long-term effect is that ultimately you're able to build a client base. You might not technically begin to see the results immediately, but you begin to see it eventually. I would encourage anyone listening that is building really to try to put their work out there. It's not the easiest thing to do. Trust me, I would know because it's hard for me as well. And trust me, I don't post every day or 3 times every week like experts would advise. But I post when there are milestones that should be spoken about.
Yeah.
So if it's hard or if it's difficult for you, just focus on key milestones in your career and your journey of building and learning, and post during those times or journal during those times.
Amazing, amazing. And I think this is very important. Somebody's asking a question on the group. Maybe we'll attend to it if we have the time. I want to give a bit of priority to some of the questions that came in from the link when people were registering. But I just want to say a bit about the idea of putting your work out there. I work with someone at the moment. He's my product manager, and I kind of assist him as a product researcher and strategist. That's what I do with the organization over there. And he puts us out there on LinkedIn, honestly, because today we're starting a new project. We are doing building a new website. We just had our first conversation. The graphics, so the UI UX designers, myself, I just started my research, trying to come up with what content works best, what should this design flow be. We don't have a product yet, And then the screenshots our conversation, maybe our Google Meet conversation, put it on LinkedIn, and it tags everybody. And I can see how much it has brought his way and how much reference it brings to me. Because now what I'm doing is, I had to tell myself yesterday that every time you post about me, I would have to retweet or repost on LinkedIn rather, so that people know that, hey, Emeka, you're doing stuff, you're not jobless. And again, I I was so amazed when somebody from, like I was telling you guys, somebody from Ville reached out and said their United wanted some of their folks to, and I believe they're on this call, to be part of the conversation and just have a good experience, because we decided to put our work out there. We decided to be out there. Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So I just want us to quickly eat some of this question, because we are running out of time. I wish we had all the time in the world, but yeah, I think we will just be here for another 14 minutes or 30 minutes, and then we'll be done. All right. So I'll put this to gifts, and then the next two questions will go to Toby, because one is already to Toby, and then you can just quickly mention to answer the second question. So gift, how do I create? Somebody saying, how do you create time to upskill? Oh, sorry, how do I create time to upskill in the midst of a demanding work environment? And I put it this way because you mentioned when you were in school and you learned the skills. So maybe you should just repeat that and then share with them based on your recent experiences.
So trust me, upskilling when you have a very busy work, it's one of the hardest things to do. But one thing I've experienced, I mean, in my few years on earth, is that life occurs in phases. So there's the phase where it's back to back, you don't have any space to catch your breath at all. And then there's this phase where you have a little bit of downtime at work, in the work that you do. So the first easiest thing to do, or the simplest thing to do, would be to leverage those times when you have those downtime to upskill as much as you can. Build up a lot of reservoir such that by the time you begin to have intense amount of work, you're able to run on the skills that you've acquired, the knowledge that you've acquired. But I know what works for me now, also, despite like having a busy schedule, is I don't know if this is going to work for everyone, so I'm very careful about saying it. But it's basically like creating time around your schedule. So I will use myself as an example. Hopefully, it will give insight into how others that are listening can then create time to upskill. I wake up very early. I'm an early morning person, so whether I like it or not, by 4 a.m. I'm up. No matter how late I sleep, because it's been like that over the years, even right from when I was in uni. So what I do is that I leverage those early hours of the morning to do everything I want to do that is not work, that is not my core 9 to 5 work, or that is not my core product design work. So if I want to upskill, I'll squeeze it into that time. Anything else I want to do, I'll squeeze it into that time. Now, for someone that is a night person, I can imagine what that would mean is that you go to work, you come back, or if you work remotely, you do your work, then maybe you get dinner, catch some rest, then wake up in the night to do your upskilling. It's incredibly hard, especially when you have to commute to work, because again, the exhaustion that comes from that makes it not so feasible. But again, it's probably things that we find over and over again, which is like just like planning our time. It's incredibly hard. There are times when we'll say, "Oh, plan our time, we'll be serious," but it's just incredibly hard because work is just so intense. I think for me, that has been October to January, right? And now I have a little bit of downtime. I'm using that advantage to upskill a lot. So it's basically observing the cycles of phases in your life. Notice, I will look for times that you have downtime and leverage on that. But if you must upskill during the period where you have busy work schedule, then you have to move things around your schedule. It's incredibly hard, but then it's something that you would have to do. And by the time you do that and do that and do that, it sort of becomes some habit. It gets easier. It's not going to become entirely easy 100%, but it gets a bit easier along the line. So that's what I would say.
Thank you so much, and I think that's like probably perfect answer to this question. Recently, I'm taking a course. It's a 1 year course, and I take classes from 6 to 9 every single day. Apart from Mondays. So initially it was Monday to Friday, and of course, what I decided I was going to do was, I know what my time is, and I would just do it. In fact, the first 2 weeks, I thought I was going to die because after working 9 to 5, and I'm doing 2 jobs, right? So I'm doing 9 to 5. One is remote and one is physical, right? And there's a lot to do, and you have to take classes for that long. But one of the things I told myself was, okay, I have personal projects. So when am I even going to be able to do that? When am I going to be able to do my own stuff? And so when they told us, okay, you're not going to be having classes on Monday anymore, I also decided that 6 to 9 is classes. So I'm on my desk from 6 to 9, but I'm not taking classes. I've scheduled a few important things I think I needed to do, and then see what I can do in those 3 hours. So it's becoming a consistent for me. And like you said, I also try to do a lot between. I'm lucky to my physical workplace doesn't take me so long, so I try to do a lot between 5 and 7:38, so that by 8:30 I'm already at work, and all of that. It's a lot, but it's also a season. And I think there's something you said when you have um, initially there was a time where I thought that when there's no work in the office, there's something is wrong. I'm always like, what else can I do? What else can I do? And I do. But then I think I read the book. Okay, I read something about in the US where companies apologize to staffs for not having work for them to do. Right. So there's really nothing wrong. For instance, you design. There are times when you are done with your design and it's the work of the developers to now develop. Right. And if there's really nothing we are doing at that time, there's nothing wrong with you not doing something at work every single day in that sense. There are times when you just have little time. And maybe that's also a good time to maximize upskilling yourself. So yeah,
Exactly. You don't
I'm
you don't have no more things to do.
yes, yes. Amazing. Okay, so over to you, Toby. Two questions in one. Guys, we're running out of time, but yeah, I believe you guys are having an amazing time. Please just show me on the chat box or show us on the chat box that you're having a good time. Let's know that you guys are having a good time. And if you're learning stuff, just drop the comment there and I'll read some of them. Over to you, Toby. This one, I think you just need to give a direct answer. It says, what is required for mentorship from Toby? So somebody wants you to mentor him or her. What's the requirement? And then if you give that, if the person is on this, if this person needs maybe a contact, or if you decide to do that, then we can only share from the back end. And then the second question I want you to quickly just in about a minute answer is, how do I ensure my ideas come to life? And how do I begin? Right? How do I ensure I have good ideas? How do I ensure they come to life? Over to you, Toby. I have to. Yes, you have the mic. Okay, so
All right, can you hear me?
Toby, sorry, you can talk now. Yes, I think yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So just to be sure I got the two questions. The first one is on mentorship,
Yes.
right? Okay. And then the second one is, how do I bring my ideas to life? All right. So let me start with the second one. How do I bring my ideas to life? I think it's almost the same. We asked almost the same question, when it comes to creativity. Okay. And one of the solutions that personally that I've given myself in response to creativity is that I feed my mind with enough. I feed my mind with enough. Maybe I want my designs to start looking like websites, or I want my designs to start looking like a very techy something. Now, what do? You feed your mind with that thing. All right. I want to attract, or I want to do some designs that communicate to the African market. For example, I want to do some designs that communicate to the African market. So what do? I feed myself with all that has to do with African market. All right. And the moment you begin to do that, all right, it expands your thoughts towards something. So you will not in the next this thing, you will not think of, maybe, for example, you want to do a food this thing. Before you think of shawarma, all right, you would have thought of maybe semo and efo, if you fed yourself well enough. Okay, so if you want to, whatever phase, whatever character it is that you want to make your ideas come to life, the first thing you should do is look for people that are doing something related, to that particular thing that you want to do. Look for them, learn massively from them. Like, really take out, find wherever it is that you can find their resources on YouTube, on Instagram, through Google, whatever format. All right, find their distance and feed on them. you know, there are some of my friends that did this virtual assistant, this thing that just ended recently, right? I have a lot of people, that did it. And then the thought that was coming to my head was that, yeah, all of those people cannot find this thing at the same time. So there are some other things that you need to do. All right. You need to meet up with people that they have a track record in this thing, and you need to really take out I'm sorry, you need to take out from them. You need to learn from them. All right. So the moment you are able to bring yourself into this position of learning, and you have taken enough, all right, it will automatically show, all right, in your say, for example, you want to, or you, as a designer, and you have a base salary every month. Maybe your base salary at the moment is maybe around 50 to 70K, for example. And then you've been hearing that there are designers that are earning 500, they are earning 700, they are earning 1 point something million. What do? You go to those people and you take out from them, okay, how exactly are you doing this? What exactly are you doing, that is able to bring you into this position, as a designer? So the moment you continually feed with them, the more you feed from them, the more you communicate with them, the more you relate with them, slowly you start seeing those effects in your own personal growth. And I'm saying this because this is
Yeah.
something that happened to me by myself. It's something that happened to me. So focus on, or look for people that are doing very well in that field. Take up their resources, listen to them, read about them, watch them, whatever thing it is that you have to do. All right. And then from there, you start seeing it forming up, in
Yeah.
your own self. So I think that's and I don't know, for the mentorship there. The truth is, I have it in store. All right, I have it in store for the year, and maybe the person can reach out to you or to me.
Okay.
We'll find a way around it, really. All
Yeah.
right, but at the moment, I'm not really putting myself out, like that for mentorship purposes. All right, the season is not now. Don't worry, it's coming. The season is coming. All right,
No
so
problem. That's fine. So I think we would have that commercial back end. And you have this, if you are listening, don't worry, I'll fight for you to ensure that you get what you want. Maybe not now, but when the season is right. Right. So the last question, just over to you, Gift. And somebody has a question on the chat box, but this is, I just want to put these two questions together. I don't think you can answer the idea of journaling. The person was asking when is the right time to journal, right? Is there a right time to journal? I know some people journal every single day, and then, but there's a
every
question
time.
here I would like you to
I
just
don't
quickly
know.
address. Gift. How do okay, sorry, I'm reading what is written here and it's not aligning. How do you make yourself stand apart in an industry that seems oversaturated, and how do you deal with doubt when you feel like what you may be doing does not matter? Lastly, how do you keep yourself inspired and stay motivated? This is many questions. Number one, how do you make yourself stand out in an industry that seems oversaturated? That's number one. How do you deal with doubts when you feel like you are not doing so much, or your work is not good enough? And then how do you keep yourself inspired and stay motivated? That's a lot of questions for just one person, but yeah, you have what it takes. Gifts, over to you. Just a
Um,
bit, I'm trying to unmute you. Okay, I think you're muted now, go ahead.
okay. Um, so I'm going to just talk, and probably along the line, I provide answers to all of the questions. So I'll start with the last part, which is the part of staying motivated. I was thinking this morning. I woke up this morning and I had no ounce of motivation in me.
I saw your status.
I,
I saw your status.
I
I
posted it.
screenshotted it. I'm going to post it.
I posted it right on my status because I had no ounce of motivation, and I said I had no ounce of motivation because I don't know. I mentioned earlier that I'm currently upskilling. I'm learning a new skill, and it's not even design related. I'm not sure it's something I'm ready to share, but the chances of success in this particular field, it's according to statistics, it's less than 1%. It's increasing now, but it's less than 1%. So It's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life till date. And I woke up this morning, I had no ounce of motivation to do anything. And it just reminded me of something that I've been thinking about of late, which is discipline. Ultimately, motivation can only take you so far. Eventually, discipline is what would carry you along the line. I'll use Elon Musk as an example because I mean, most people know him, or at least can relate to his journey and the amazing things that he has done, or can see the amazing things that he has done. And I don't want to believe he wakes up every day very pumped. I'm like, let's go and build a space, a spaceship. I don't think he wakes up every day and things like that. He's a very passionate man, but I'm sure there are days where he's just exhausted and he's just tired. And I've had phases in my life too where I'm just exhausted and I'm just tired and I don't want to do anything. And for days like that, discipline is what keeps you going. It sounds like a very vague concept, but if you can internalize it and internalize it enough that I have zero ounce of motivation, but I have to be disciplined. I have to stay consistent at this thing. Um, then you just have to drag yourself up and do whatever it is that is necessary to drag yourself up and get the work done. If it's meditation for you, because I meditate, if it's meditation for you, if it's prayer for you, if it's getting an accountability partner or someone that drags you out of bed, whatever it is that keeps you in check, try to do that. Because motivation can only take you so far. So think of motivation as nitro. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. If you watch Fast and Furious, there's a point where they apply nitro and the car goes very fast, and there's a point where it goes back to normal speed. So don't think about it as I want to be motivated every day because it's really not going to happen, especially if you are working out of Nigeria where waking up in Nigeria alone is frustrating already. Then I think discipline and consistency is what will keep you going. How do you stand out in an oversaturated field? I think it's consistency. Eventually, consistency will separate the weak. How do you say it? The wheat from the chaff. I think that's how you say it. So what that means is that naturally, if you look at any career or any skill at all, you would find a lot of people at the base. So think of it like a pyramid. You find a lot of people at the base, right? A lot of people who trickle in. Think about design, for example. Think about development, for example. um what Because this is something that I think about a lot. What will eventually make you stand out in an oversaturated space, which is doing good work, for example. But I'm not going to say that because it's something that I'm sure we've heard over and over. Will do great work, do good work. But at that base of the pyramid, where it appears as though you have a lot of competition, eventually what will make you stand out is just being consistently um staying on put on that thing that you do. There are a lot of people that you know that probably do XYZ 3 years ago that don't do it at the moment. And they've pivoted or they've transitioned. Ultimately, time will filter out people. And then if you are consistent enough, you will naturally stand out. So what that means is that it takes about 10 years anyway, 5 to 10 years to build something that is truly solid and to sort of imprint your name on the minds of people. Such that you're able to stand out. So just stay consistent in what you do. Then how do you deal with doubt? I think we'll always have doubt. I think I was reading something recently where someone had said, I was reading this writing and the thing I said, no one has ever died from this disease called embarrassment and there's no cure for it. So I think the reason why we have doubt a lot is because we think that what we do should matter. And I think it's somewhat preposterous for us to think that we should always matter in the grand scheme of things. Because if you look, they're just like what a spot or a dot in the entire universe, anyways. So by the time we think that people should naturally care or should always care, then what we do is that we put ourselves in this place where we put ourselves under a lot of pressure, and it's just very difficult for us to get out of it. For me, and I'd like to speak from one perspective. What has worked for me that I don't doubt myself is that no one really cares anyway. Everybody is too consumed about their own life, their own goals, that they don't really care. So I don't really allow that to stop me from like doing what I want to do. Because in the grand scheme of things, everybody is thinking about themselves, so to speak. And yeah, I think that's essentially it to avoid like going in circles because I know that we are almost running out of time. But I hope I was able to address all three legs of the
Yeah.
question.
Then journaling.
Oh, what was the question on journaling?
Is there a perfect time to journal?
I wouldn't say there is a perfect time to journal, but I think for me, early mornings are the best because that is when my brain is. So it depends on the type of journaling you are talking about. If you're talking about like your private personal journal, the one that helps with clarity of thought, um, definitely can choose a specific time that works for you. Early morning works for me. If you're talking about putting your work out there on LinkedIn, so like I said earlier, a lot of people will come up with like suggestions. They'll say post every Tuesday, post by 12 noon on Tuesdays. I'm not the type of person that follow rules that much. I really don't care that much. So just post your work where you want to post it, honestly. Yeah, that's what I would say. But at least ensure that you're putting your work out there.
Amazing, amazing. How many of you agree with me that it's been an amazing conversation? You know, one of the great things about being in this conversation for me personally is that I'm learning from the people who I bring up here. That's the most important thing for me, honestly. That's what I gain. That's the gain I get. I I'm not sure I got and maybe I got one more followers on my Instagram apart from the page, Organero page. Please follow us on the Organero Convo on Instagram and even on LinkedIn. Um, well, Instagram does not pay me, but this is what I gain. I gain more knowledge. I gain more clarity. I'm learning from people around me, my peers, people who have gone ahead of me, and I'm also learning to build. All right, and I think that that's why you all came to this conversation to listen to incredible people like Gift and Toby um, um, talk about their own story. You have your own story. You are building yourself, and I think that most times journaling, what journaling does is that it helps you to see how much you are doing, where you are coming from, and where you are at the moment. Gift, I'll just share a personal story. So last year, and to be true, by the end of last year, I was like, Emeka, what have you even done in 2024? That was my first thought. What have you done in 2024? And the only journal I had were pictures. And if you know me, I don't do pictures, right? So I have few pictures. And for some reason I was checking. Okay, I think it was during my birthday. I just screwed down to January, and on January 1st, I managed a project. I managed an event. That was the first day of the year, you know. And I kept checking, and I saw how much I did. And I went, "You did this? How come? We started this, we did that. You got a new job. You are doing two jobs. You started a course, a 1 year course. And I'm like, oh wow, this is good. So please, guys, it doesn't matter where you are. Um, One of the things you must take out of the conversations we have had with Gift and Toby today would be one, you can start from where you are. Two, you just need to know what the basics are, what are the most important things, and go for those things. Three, you want to be that person who is not who does not keep himself or herself in a box. You want to explore, you want to push hard, you want to go the extra mile. You don't want to be looking at what people are going to say. You want to build your own stuff. You want to impressively push as hard as possible. You want to be that guy or that lady who is doing the most that they can. You want to give yourself task and say, this is impossible, and that's why I'm going to do it. Not everybody's doing this, that's why I'm going to do it. It may cost me more time, it may cost me more sacrifice, like Gifts going to take a leadership course, going to learn about venture capitalism, and all of that. Or Toby, who for some weird reason has not told us what he's switching to. I know it's, he's switching into an higher level of these things, in terms of designs and brand strategy and all of that. But you just want to be consistent at what you are doing. You want to show up every single day, guys. You want to show up every single day. The final thing that she said, and I'm going to reference to it, and Toby also said something about it, is the need for discipline. Motivation will only take you as far. It's the discipline, the choice to say, I'm going to do this again and again and again. Recently, I started building some consistent habits, and I'm reading Atomic Habits just to be able to build all of that. And I just realized, guy, I have to do this. I don't have to feel like it. I don't have to enjoy doing it, but I will just have to do it. If I have to do this every single day, I'm going to do it. And that helps me. And she said something that's very important: build accountability around some of the things you are doing. And yes, I think it's a good place to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Gift. Thank you so much,
Thank you for having
Toby.
me.
Yes, I
It
believe this
was
will not be the last time we have this
I'm honored,
conversation.
man.
I believe again and again I will have reasons to bring you guys on board. This is our third virtual event, and our very first virtual event will happen very soon. I don't know when, maybe this year, next year, but will happen very soon. As soon as it needs to happen. we are not in a hurry to do stuff, but we just want to be a blessing to people and want to see people move forward. And that's why we have the name Organiru, make progress. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everyone who has joined this call. A good number of you joined. I know some people have left now, obviously, because you have to, we were extended the time to do other stuff, but we are glad you showed up. We're glad you're here. Someone said, do you have a community that we can be part of? Please, I will just quickly put this number on the chat group. If you want to maybe be reminded of what we are doing every single time, follow us on Instagram. But most importantly, you can just send a message to the number I just posted there, and we can do well. I know they said to not post numbers on YouTube. I just did that, but yeah, you can send a message on WhatsApp, and we'll see what we'll do from there. The person who wanted to connect with Toby, do the same thing, and just say hi on WhatsApp, and we'll keep that conversation going from there. Thank you so much, Toby, for showing up. Thank you for giving me your time. I really appreciate that. You're a busy man, so yes, taking 1 hour plus of it, almost 2 hours. I'm grateful. Thank you so much, Gift, as well. You're an amazing person. Thank you
Thank you.
for inspiring me. You gave me 2 or 3 years ago. You gave me a book to read. I read it, and I've been reading
Wow.
design books. I don't design. That's the crazy thing. But yeah, I read design book, and it helps me to really think and just process things. And that's why I got the idea that if you can't arrange chairs, you can't do design.
Did you show up? Did you show up the design?
Yeah. So
Did you show
all
up the
right.
design you made?
You said what?
Did you show up the design you made? That design now.
I just designed for when
You
I
sent
when I
it to
know
me
people
though.
to design for me. I design myself. I would send you one of my design to gift. I know the design you're referring to. So I did a manifesto. Sorry guys, this conversation. So I did a manifesto for my course, and I sent
Oh,
him the design, and he was dealing with me as if I was a designer. But yeah, I sent it to you to just hear your thoughts.
please
At least
do, please
I'll
do,
improve my skill. So
please.
yeah, so thank you everybody. Thank you for those who joined, my friends who joined. It's always a delight to see you guys. And tell people they can find this on YouTube. We'll just refine it a bit and then put it on YouTube. We'll be here for life so that in 20 years' time, people will still keep referring to this. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye,
Good
bye,
night.
bye, bye. Yeah, I'm coming to your DMs, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
Yeah, bye.